So this is a monthly thing that we do. So this time around, I'm gonna have Maribel do the introduction to cooking with ESL.
Yes. So just as a reminder, I want to thank everyone for being here. The whole purpose of doing Cooking with ESL is to raise funds for our ESL scholarship. We want to keep supporting our students. So throughout the show, Michael and Bertha are going to be posting the donation link. And when you do go to donate, please select ESL scholarship. So I'm going to get started. Today, I will be cooking empanadas. So let me make sure that you can see everything here. I have everything ready. So this is ground beef. I already preheated my pan. And I'm going to season using this slurry. So you can season to like as much or as little as you like. It's very salty, so I would suggest not putting a lot.
What kind of ground beef is that, Maribel? Lean or fat or?
This is lean. This is 93% lean.
That's pretty lean.
Yeah, it is. And so, you can use whichever one you want. I know some people like it a little bit more fatty. But I prefer the lean because it still, releases a lot of grease. So I do have the recipe that I will be sharing in a little bit, but I'm using this is about a half a cup of onion. It's already chopped. I'm gonna toss it in there. I'm gonna be browning the meat.
Is that about a pound and a half?
Yes, thank you. This is a pound of ground beef. And while it's browning, I'm going to show you some of the other ingredients. This is 1 cup of sweet corn. You can buy frozen or you can buy canned, whatever you prefer. I chopped up some spinach. It doesn't look like a lot, and it's going to even get smaller. It's going to shrink once I put it in here. But I used 2 big bunches. These are the discos that I will be using to make the actual empanadas. You can find these at Walmart. You can find these at Cárdenas. That's a Mexican grocery store. You can find them at El Super. That's another grocery store.
Well, that makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
It does. It makes everything super easy. I think the hardest part is actually making the meat. Cooking the meat. So you can do medium to high heat.
Where do empanadas come from? What's the country of origin?
I have no idea, but the first time I ever tried empanadas, I had an Argentinian friend and I fell in love with empanadas. And so these are not too popular in the Mexican culture, but I love food. So, if there's something that I really like, I will try to replicate it. But I know in Argentina, empanadas are super popular.
Yeah, it's actually derives from Argentina. It's considered a sheep herder's takeaway lunch. So basically, when they go out into the fields, it's easy for them just to wrap up in their little satchel and go out to the fields with them.
Oh, so it's like a meat pie.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a thing I made called pasties, and it's Cornish. And my husband's grandfather used to take it into the copper mines with him. And it's a pie with meat inside.
Yeah, this is similar.
So just something for them to hold on to and eat.
So now that the meat is browned, I go ahead and I add the corn. And again, this is about 1 cup. 1 cup of corn. You can also start adding the spinach. It's already chopped, it's washed.
Is this like a home recipe that you have?
Yes, some people like to use potato. I'm too lazy to make the potato because you have to boil it, peel it, dice it. So I prefer spinach and corn. And you just keep stirring it.
If you were to add other stuff to it, what other things would you add to it?
I've seen people add, have you seen the little frozen veggie packs that come with like carrots, peas? That's something popular too. A lot of people just use peas and meat. But you know, cheese, I will be putting cheese.
Cheese.
Yes. So if you prefer something that's meatless, you can always do cheese and whatever veggie of choice. I love spinach, so I would probably do spinach and cheese.
So
Really?
Maribel, you don't drain off the fat after the meat's cooked. You add all the other ingredients because it helps with the flavor.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm surprised it has a lot of fat because I got lean.
That's probably a lot of the liquid too,
Yes.
like water, not just the fat.
Mhm.
But if it's too lean, it's dry, so you don't want it too lean.
That's true. So then another trick to this is that if you want to be healthier, you can put them in. You can put the empanada in the air fryer. I like to fry them because they taste a little bit more buttery. They're a little bit crispier. They're softer too. They're just really good. But I've tried doing the healthy version and putting them in my air fryer and also put them in the oven. It just doesn't taste the same. I saw my cousins in here. Hi,
Who's your cousin?
my cousin Adriana.
Hi, Adriana.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
See my friends too. My
Nice
friend
to-
Marcel. Thank you for showing up. My cousin, she literally lives like around the corner from me, so I might drop off with bananas.
That's why she's here. Make sure she gets some, right? There's an Argentinian empanada place really popular near our house, and they put olives in,
Yes.
and a lot of them have olives. They have all kinds of really interesting flavors too.
I also see Tammy in the house.
Hi,
Hey,
Tammy. So I'm just gonna let it cook a little more. But it looks ready. And I'm gonna show you what else I have ready here. So the viscos, this is what they look like. They do come with a little plastic. You just peel it off. And they put it on there so that they don't stick together. So it makes it easier for you to take out the dough from the little bag. So this is ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put it aside. Why am I having stove issues today? All right, so on the other little pan, this one's little, but it's not, I'm not gonna make all of them right now. So you can use whatever oil you want. I'm using masola and preheating this little pan. You can use about, depending on how many you're gonna make, but right now I'm just gonna pour. And this is probably gonna be like less than half a cup. I'm gonna wait for it to heat up. And then in the meantime, move this way. So I have some that are ready, but I'm gonna show you how they got like that. So I have the disco for the empanada. I'm gonna use this one so that a little of the fat drains out. Let me stay there. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on here.
Can you cook in advance, like the day before?
Yeah, you can, and then you can put them in the fridge. You don't have to fry them until you're ready. Here's the cheese. I like to use Monterey Jack because it melts very well. And so it's actually one of my favorites. You can put as much or as little cheese as you want. I'm a cheese lover, so I'll just put.
I like as much.
Right, I love cheese. So I'm just pinching a lot of cheese in there. And then this is the tough part, in my opinion, is trying to seal this. So I'm trying to make sure that all the stuff stays in there. And I'm trying to fold it like a taco. And then you're gonna use a fork and you're gonna start sealing the edges. So I know it's a little hard to see, but as I move along, you'll be able to see. So I'm sealing the edges.
And the edges just stick together. They don't fall apart, huh? That's
Well,
pretty good.
you know what? The other day when I made some, they were sticking very well. And right now, not behaving. It's trying to open up. But just press hard. That way the fork creates that pressure. And so now it's sticking to my fork. But here we go. So I'm just sealing it again. That way it's there. So this is what it ends up looking like. And the oil is already hot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump it in here. And basically what you do is you're just gonna go ahead and let it brown. Once you see that it's golden and crispy, you can flip it. Well, you'll have to check to see if it's a little brown. You just kind of let it sit there for a little bit. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and stuff one more.
So
Miss Maribel,
Yes.
is that masa already prepared? Does it come in a packet already?
It does. So these are discos, and you can find these like at Walmart. You can find these at Cardenas, at El Super, and there's usually 10 per little pack. So this makes it everything easier, right? Because it's already done. This is like the difficult part, which is still not difficult. Just prepping the stuffing for your empanada.
And you mentioned the healthier version is to air fry.
Yes, you can air fry it. If you air fry it, just do maybe about 400 degrees for 5 minutes. And then you're gonna flip them after those 5 minutes, and you're gonna put another 5 minutes. If you put them in the oven, I haven't really made them in the oven, but I'm assuming that 350 degrees for like maybe a good 25 minutes or so would be fine. So again, right now I'm sealing, making sure that they seal and the stuffing doesn't come out. I see that this one's already ready to flip. Oh yeah, I took a little.
Oh, it looks good. Golden.
Yes. So once that one's done, then basically what I do is I do get a plate. I put a napkin on the plate so that any excess oil drains on there and it's not too greasy. So let me go ahead and grab that. Use napkins, paper towels, doesn't really matter. And you can just move it around too if needed. That way it browns evenly. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Sounds good. It smells good. I wish you could smell this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Too bad the smell can't come through the computers.
Yes. Oops. All right. So this one is ready. Who wants to be the first person?
Me.
Yeah, so this one's ready. This is what the finished product looks like. I'm gonna let it cool down a little, and then I'm gonna eat it in front of all of you.
Oh, man.
You can also, if you want to be creative, depending on what you like, you can make your empanadas with whatever stuffing you like. So the other day I made some, and I actually made some with soy riso, spinach, and corn, and they were really good too. So it just depends, on what your preference is. You can do a veggie, you can do cheese. It's up to you. But this is what I like. So this is what I wanted to share. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do they ever make sweet ones like with?
Yes. So that is a good question. So I was actually checking online the other day, and people make like little mini apple pies or whatever fruit you want. You stuff it in there, and then you just you fry it, and maybe you can sprinkle some sugar on there, because the actual dough, it's not too flavorful. So it's fine if you eat it with something savory or something more sweet. But yes, good question.
And do you just eat it like that, or is there some dipping sauce or hot sauce that people put on it?
Yes, I use regular hot sauce, just like green salsa or just salsa, because I like spicy. But I know in other cultures, Argentinians use chimichurri, and it's so delicious. Other people use ranch, and they just kind of put it on there. But it's good. Yeah, you can use whatever dipping sauce you would like.
In Ecuador, they actually top it with sugar. So a meat empanada, and they put sugar, they sprinkle sugar on top.
Really?
It's really good.
Wow.
Are they trying to get their kids to eat vegetables?
That's right.
Yeah.
So that is it from my part. I believe I wasn't looking at the chat, but yes, I see that they shared the recipe on there. I think now we're gonna go ahead and move on to Lorina. So give me 1 second.
Lorina, do you mind if I spotlight you?
I mean, what?
Do you mind if I spotlight you?
I still missed it. Sorry.
I'm gonna spotlight you so people can
Oh,
see.
gosh. Did I start?
You look great.
Yes.
All right, so this is what we need. It's for Christmas Brittle. You need 1 cup brown sugar, some saltine crackers, 1 cup unsalted butter, some chocolate chips, and toppings of your choice. My husband had a little fun making this video. So just take a regular cookie sheet and you line it up with some parchment paper and spray it with a no stick spray. Of course, my dogs are gonna do that right now. Line it up with some saltine crackers. And in a saucepan, well, I was in a saucepan, just melt the butter down.
Are we gonna have the recipe?
Yes, I just I just put it in there.
Yeah. So meanwhile, while that's going, you preheat your oven to 375 and just melt the butter here. I do want to say I use saltine crackers. A lot of people for this recipe use saltine crackers. I think because they are perfect little squares and line up nicely on the cookie sheet and actually come easier to break apart. But I've seen other people use like Ritz crackers or like the Townhouse buttery crackers. Those are really rich with the butter, so they work as well. But the cracker kind of seems, in my opinion, gets a little bit softer than like a regular saltine. So once the butter is completely melted, you throw in your cup of brown sugar, and you're just going to keep stirring it for about 3 minutes or so until all the brown sugar is dissolved. And because we're kind of making like a caramel adjacent kind of texture, you do want to keep stirring it because it will burn. And like Maribel says, this is the part that it smells really good. Your house starts smelling really good, like brown sugar.
How often do you do this recipe?
Normally, I mean, it's normally around Christmas time. It is really, really sweet and rich. But I just made it recent. I mean, I knock off the Christmas name and just give it to anybody for any time of the day. My husband's coworkers really love it. And so every time he does something for my husband, he's like, can your wife pay me with some of this brittle? So it works that way too. So as you can see, it's boiling. And once we get to have it boiling, it's all the brown sugars dissolved. You just take your cookie sheet full of crackers, and any minute now.
Do you ever put anything in there like almond extract or vanilla?
I suppose you could add flavorings in it if you wanted to. The brown sugar on the butter is really sweet as it is, so you'd have to probably put a lot to have that flavor beat out the brown sugar.
Yeah.
And then you just pour it all over the crackers. Try to coat as many as you can. Now the recipe, I don't know if it was posted yet. I can post it. It says like 1 sleeve of the saltine crackers. Depends on your cookie sheet, because apparently I have a lot of sizes cooking sheet. And as I was making this, my husband was like, well, sometimes he helps me make it for his friends too. He goes, sometimes I use a sleeve and a half. So this was on one of our smaller cookie sheets. So it was just fine.
Yeah.
And the sugar worked out really well. So you just want to spread it around and coat as much of the crackers as you can. You're going to put it in the oven, so it'll still keep bubbling up and melting and oozing everywhere. So just initially right here, you want to just try to cover as much as you can just to help that process along. You could see some of the crackers were moving on me.
Lorina, somebody posted that they like caramel adjacent and that they would buy a perfume called that.
Oh my gosh. I attract the wrong kind of people.
I can almost smell it at my house.
Yeah, I know. I did this video 3 times. And on one of them, I was doing this in the camera, but I was like, okay, stop playing.
Well, what did you do? Did you eat everything that you made?
Oh God, I gave it all away. So put it in the oven, and I'm trying to show you here in 5 minutes, but my husband wasn't paying attention to tell me. You couldn't see it. So put it in the oven for 5 minutes. And while that's baking, you can choose any toppings you want. For this one, I always choose a Heath bar. I love toffee. I've seen people do candy bars, pretzels, cereal even. You can put like nuts. So I keep it simple. I use a Heath bar, and I break it up in the packaging. You can put it in a Ziploc baggie too, just to help with the splatter, because sometimes depending how hard you beat it, you can break the packaging. I've done that several times. And I just put it in a bowl, and I set it aside for when I need it. It's getting stuck in there. And I take some white chocolate. You can use milk chocolate, you can use dark chocolate, any kind of chocolate you want. I just prefer white. And you break it up. As long as it's meltable, you put it in the microwave. Because I only use a little bit of white chocolate, I use the microwave. If you're going to make a large batch, I would suggest using a double broiler. And again, you put chocolate in the microwave. You can do like 1 or 2 rounds with about 30 seconds. But after that, try to keep it like 5 seconds each, because chocolate will burn also. And it's no good after it reaches that consistency. So I did it a few times at 5 seconds. And you just want it nice and melty. And I'll show you an all runny.
Ooh.
And there you go. Put it to the side. And then take your crackers out of the oven. As you can see, it really helped smear the rest of that brown sugar concoction all over the crackers. It's nice and bubbly. And while it's still hot, fresh from the ovens, just take a bag of chocolate chips. I know like this brand Nestle Toll House, around the holidays, they do different flavors. So this one's just regular semi-sweet. You can do the dark chocolate. I know they have the Hugs flavored. Around Christmas, they do the peppermint bark flavored. I've even seen peanut butter. So just pour it coat all the crackers. The heat will help melt that down. I did realize while I was pulling ingredients that we had a little bag of chocolate chips that I thought was a little bag. And as I'm pouring the mini chips that poured out, my husband tells me that was a lot more than you thought. So normally it's not this much chocolate. If you want it to be, go ahead. I know there's a lot of chocolate lovers out there, but he warned me as I was pouring it out. So there's a lot of chocolate on there. So I had to take a minute, and you just want to, again, like everything else, spread it around. The heat, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's already starting to melt. And you just want to make sure everything's coated and just keep moving the chocolate chips until they are completely melted. And it actually melts pretty fast too.
For me, I want more chocolate.
Oh God. The chocolate on this was so thick. Yeah, I mean.
Look at that. We still have 2 more layers, Michael. We have the Heath bar and the white chocolate still coming.
So I'm sprinkling on my Heath bar, and this is where you can put any topping you want: nuts, candy bar, pretzels, graham crackers, marshmallows, cereal. We had some Reese's Puffs cereal that my husband threw on at the last second. I mean, I've seen so many candy canes if you want. And then once you put all your toppings on, I just drizzle the white chocolate over it, and it doesn't have to be fancy because we're actually just going to break it all apart anyways. So I'm just putting it everywhere.
I could see graham crackers at the bottom, but I can't see Ritz crackers because they're round.
Yeah, it doesn't break as nice. His friend wanted it for his wedding, and so I had to actually flip it over so I could see the cracker lines. And here I'm just breaking it apart. You can break it apart by hands. That's usually the way it's done. Or you could just take a knife, and if you want to get fancy with it. I normally take it out of the pan and cut it so it's flat. I was having trouble with the sides of the pan. But I'm doing the saltine crackers, I flip it so I can actually cut along the edges and have nice, even pieces. And that's, I mean, rarely do I cut it. We just sit there breaking it apart and throw it on a platter. I've yet to meet anybody who doesn't, that's it, who doesn't inhale that.
Oh.
Yummy.
And it's super easy. Like I said, I haven't met anybody who doesn't like it yet. So it'll almost guarantee it'll be a hit.
What's not to like?
I love it. Do you still have some at your house?
God, no, I got it. Oh my gosh. So we made 3 trays and he took 2 to his friends at work. And then he left one in the fridge. And I was like, okay. And he keeps taking a piece off every night after he comes home from work or whatever. And I think maybe like on the 4th day, he's like, hey, babe, have you eaten any of the brittle? And I'm like, no. And he goes, huh. So I've eaten a whole cookie sheet by myself. And I'm like, I guess so. He's like, okay, cool.
So that's a serving of 1.
In some households, yeah.
Well, I'll probably be like your husband too. I don't know if there's an actual serving size for me, but that whole tray I think is good for me.
Oh God. I mean, I'm not a huge chocolate lover, but yeah, even I'm like, I like the crumbs. Once you break it apart and everything and you have the crumbs in the tray, that's what I pick at.
Oh.
Now we know what treat Lorina is going to bring for the Christmas, to get us through the Christmas days.
All right. Well, we have one more. And Maribel, would you like to do the introduction while I get started getting the video ready?
Yes. So this is going to be a video from my student, one of my students in VESL. Her name is Claudia Cabrera. She actually wants to be a chef. So she does have a background and she's currently about to finish VESL 1. And her main goal, again, is to become a chef. So she's going to go into our culinary program here at Mount SAC. And she's a wonderful student. One more thing that I wanted to add is that Claudia is one of our 2021 scholarship recipients. So I'm very happy for her, very proud of her work.
Yay, that is so awesome. And this is the whole point of Cooking with ESL, is to raise funds for students like Claudia. So here is her video, and she put this all together by herself in a PowerPoint.
And you said she's working, so she can't join us today, unfortunately.
Yes, she's working, so she couldn't join us today.
Hello everyone, my name is Claudia Cabrera. I'm a VESL student, and tonight I'm gonna be making lentil soup. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching.
Could everybody hear that? Yes?
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
These are the ingredients that I'm gonna be using today. We already chopped the garlic, the onions, the tomato. We have the carrots, the potato, and the bacon. And I'm using 1.5 cups of lentils.
Did you see those cup? It has marks as far as what size it is. It's cool.
These are the ingredients that I'm gonna be using today. We already chopped the garlic, the onions, the tomato. We have the carrots, the potato, and the bacon. And okay, we're gonna start by adding the bacon into our pot. And we're gonna let it fry well.
Is that bacon?
Yes. I'm hungry all over again.
I would buy a perfume called Bacon Adjacent.
This is what gives the lentil soup most of the flavor. This is how I actually make mine as well, and it's so delicious.
But Maribel, you're gonna buy a pig as a pet, right?
Yeah, that's why I need to stop eating meat.
You can use any kind of bacon. In my case, I'm using this brand. And this only had like 1 gram of carbohydrate and doesn't have much sugar, and it doesn't have too much fat on it. So it's kind of healthy.
You can tell it's not getting a lot of grease from that center cut.
As you can see,
Yeah.
there's no oil, there's no fat.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna add the onions. And I have it on medium heat. Now I'm gonna add the garlic. And now I'm gonna add the tomato. Now I add the carrots. Now the potatoes. We season it with some salt. Pepper. We add the paprika. And we cover it for a few minutes.
Maribel, what's the student's name, or Michael?
Her name is Claudia.
Claudia Cabrera.
Claudia Cabrera. Where is she from?
She's from El Salvador.
Okay. And do you know where she started in ESL?
You know what? I don't know, but I will be checking.
You can tell her if she opens a restaurant, we'll be more than happy to come. Are you eating in front of us?
I am. That's why I have the video off.
Oh, man.
She said she was going to. She wasn't lying.
I think your cousin's at the door.
After this, I'm going to finish making the rest. I was hungry and I wanted to focus on this, so I'm taking a little break.
It smells so good. Now we're gonna add our lentils that are previous washed and rinsed.
Heidi looked into it and it looks like Claudia started with us in level 5.
Great. So she's been with us for a couple of years.
Gonna add some seasoning, chicken flavor. And we mix it. So I already have water. I boiled it before and I'm gonna add some water. I think that's enough to cover it. We check the flavor to see if it needs more salt. A little bit of more salt, and we cover it and let it boil on lower heat for about 20-25 minutes, and we check. Okay, we're gonna check on our lentils. At this point, you decide if it needs more water, more salt, and that's it. And this is how it looks.
That looks great. That's a nice first course for our empanada and brittle meal.
Yes. Yes, these lentils are so good. That's how I like to make mine. And they're just, especially, you know, when it's a little cold, they're so delicious. They're so, it's such a good hearty feeling that you get after eating lentil soup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any questions? We're happy to have everyone here. We appreciate your support. Again, this is for, you know, the fundraising for our ESL scholarships for our students. And the video you just watched, that was from Claudia, one of our 2021 scholarship recipients. And this is, you know, something new that we're trying to continue raising funds for the scholarship. I know in the past we've sold snacks and done different things. And so this time, since we're virtually, we're trying to explore different ways to do fundraising. So we appreciate everyone who came to visit and everyone who has donated in the past. Thank you.
Thank you for putting it together. This was a lot of fun.
Of course.
Delicious.
You have to share, Maribel.
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting here with nothing. I just have my chapstick.
Poor Michael.
Is
Go
it
make some
flavored at
chicken
least?
wings.
Yeah.
It's too long. I want it now.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a
We'll
great
stick around if you have any questions, but have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Great job, Maribel.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Maria. You're
Bye,
welcome.
Professor. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
You're
Maribel.
welcome.
Bye-bye.